my arrows. I'm Kashan, and this is going to be a review of Freaks by Amanda Hocking. As you saw in the introduction of this video, this is going to be a non-spoiler book review of Freaks by Amanda Hocking. This is a new release technically. It came out right at the beginning of January, and I was lucky enough to pick up an arc of this. This is a standalone novel that follows a traveling carnival or a traveling sideshow. The carnival has stopped in Louisiana. Whoever has invited them to do the sideshow is paying them a good sum of money, but there is something weird going on with this town and they don't know what it is. Members of the carnival start to disappear and it turns into a huge mystery. What's happening, what's going on, who's targeting them. This book also takes place in the 80s, so a lot of fun elements were at play in here, and I thought that, oh, this is going to make for such a great story. My favorite elements about this book was actually the things that took place during the sideshow, during the carnival. You got to hear about the different rides and stuff. You got to see the different booths, and you got to hear about some of the shows that the members of the carnival were in. Right at the beginning of the story, you find out that the majority of the members in the traveling carnival really have actual abilities, and they use those abilities with whatever acts that they are doing in the carnival, and it was really cool to hear about that. I just love the idea of this traveling sideshow, and it was definitely my favorite part of the story. I also enjoyed the mystery element. I haven't really read a book that has like a whodunit mystery element in a while, and I was just trying to figure out, okay, well, you know, what happened, who's involved, etc, etc. I liked the idea of the novel more than I actually liked the whole thing. One of the number one issues that I had with this book was the pacing. I've read other books by Amanda Hocking, but those have all been series. This is the first standalone that I've read by her, and I really feel like she struggled with fitting everything into this book and pacing it correctly. This book is only 300 and something pages, but it feels like it took forever to develop the mystery, to get to the meat of the story. A lot of the story focuses a lot on the romance, which I'll talk about in a minute, and it just kind of kills your anticipation of finding out what happens, because once you find out what happens, everything takes place like right at the end of the book, and it's like this happened, this happened, this happened, and then that's how it wrapped up. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, what? It just turns into a huge info dump at the end, and that just wasn't a satisfying feeling to me. So that definitely took away from it. The other huge thing that took away from it was the insta love. This story takes place over the course of like a week or so, and they just arrived at this town, yet there was insta love with the main character and her romance. It was so bad, in my opinion. It wouldn't have bothered me as much if so much of the story was dedicated to the romance, which to me the romance doesn't even play a large role in the central plot. I don't think so. So not only was it insta-lovey, but it wasn't even necessary to really drive the story along. It was kind of like a distraction. So I really didn't like that element of it at all. She could have still had the romance going on to spice up things, but it should not have taken up as much space in the book as it did. Another thing that I had a problem with about this, the book description that tells you what the book is about, some of those things do not happen in the story until the last 50 or 100 pages. And that's crazy to me, because I'm like, how are you going to write a book blurb about basically the general plot and put things in it that don't even occur in the book until towards the end? So that means there is 200, 300 pages of anticipation waiting for the story to get to that thing that they talked about on the book flap. And that to me is just not acceptable. I don't know if that's something on the publisher's part or if that's something that the author decides, but that really took away from it for me. I feel like this story really could have worked as book one could be about this traveling circus in this particular city or setting, and then a mystery central to that city or setting, and then the next book take place in a totally different city, and then maybe you meet some new people that join the carnival with new special abilities. And you know, the romance between the main character and her love interest develops at like a slower pace instead of it just being like that insta love in the first book, because then he becomes a character that's in the second and third book, etc. So a lot of the issues that I had were really with execution. So unfortunately, this for me was a 3-star read. Just a solid 3 stars, and that's it. Would I recommend this? I don't know. I love Amanda Hocking, and I've just read so many other better books by her. Is this going to be on a general recommendations list in the future? Probably not. That is my review on Freaks by Amanda Hocking. If you've read this book, leave in the comment section below what are your thoughts on it, and are you interested in picking up this read? Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at theBookArcher. I try to post my book reviews on Mondays. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.